Hey, good evening and welcome to the CISSP Daily Dose. There was a little bit of break owing to my health conditions, but then now I'm back. So this in this part of our CISSP Daily Dose, we will see what do you mean by governance and organizational management as far as CISSP is concerned. So any organization is composed of a top management committee, okay, and generally as per the CISSP, CEO, the chief executive officer, is at the helm of the affairs. Okay, the chief information security officer is responsible for information security, aspects. The chief financial officer is responsible for taking day-to-day care and need of the financial aspects, and chief information officer deals with the information operations of the organization, right? So that is one of the major questions. At times questions are asked from this particular aspect also. Now, once we look at security management, it's very important that to have security management in place, you carry out certain important tasks. Now, out of them, first is to define security roles and responsibilities. Because in an organization, if security roles and responsibilities are not defined properly, then nobody will know how to, who has to execute security job roles, right? It should be well known how the security will be managed. What are the security frameworks that we need to follow? Okay, we have to develop strategy, policies, and plans. There has to be an information security policy in place, and security should be risk driven because you will not be able to, uh, you know, take care of all the risks. So therefore, the risks which are prioritized, which might cause a grave danger to your organization, immediately needs to be taken care of first. And finally, if the human chain is not very well aware and is not very well trained, your security will never be able to meet the objectives which you want. Okay. Now, when we talk about security management planning, uh, there are three kind of plans. First is a strategic plan, which is spread over around 5 years. Okay. Then you have a tactical plan, which is a much more shorter plan, which is generally the task which you are going to accomplish in the next 1 year. And you have certain implementation windows or operational plans. So if you have a major target to meet your security objective, you will break it down into smaller parts which you can meet up in 1 year time frame, and then you will have certain operational plans with which you can meet the tactical objectives. Okay. Now, as far as security is concerned, security should always be kept in mind when there are third party risks involved. There are risks involved with when your company is going for acquisitions and divestitures and mergers. Okay, such kind of activity should always be maintained through service level agreements and service level requirements. Okay, you have to evaluate risks that are going to emanate into your organization from external parties, right? Now, third party evaluations are generally carried out when you are either going to acquire some company, or you're going to have a merger, or you are going to have some evaluation of a third party vendor. But generally that is done by four means. You can go to on site and uh, carry out an assessment of that organization. You can ask for certain documents from that organization. You can do their policies and process reviews, and finally you can do third party audits which are mandated by regulatory norms. Now, when we talk about security roles and responsibilities, these are the few security roles and responsibilities which are laid down by ISA squared. Now, senior manager is the role who has the ultimate responsibility if something goes wrong in the organization. It is generally it could be the CEO of the company, but he is the senior most manager on whose responsibility the complete responsibility falls. A security professional is generally an experienced security engineer who can architect security. Asset owners are high level managers who can uh, who can classify assets based on kind of information they handle. okay, and they can delegate their task to a custodian who can implement security controls. A custodian is a person or a role which actually physically implements all the security controls. User has to be trained and made aware, and auditor needs to review and test the policies which are implemented in the organization. Okay, so got a small question. In an organization, who is primarily responsible for determining the classification levels of information and ensuring that it is protected accordingly, right? So generally, you should always rule out the answers first. So user is never responsible for classifying information. Data owner is one of the person who can classify information. Data custodian generally implements security controls, and system administrator is generally responsible for maintaining systems. So that's why you can easily say that data owner is the person who is responsible for classifying information, right? Now, when you want to implement security, you need to have a starting point, okay? And generally, the best starting points are referring to certain security control frameworks, okay? So, security control frameworks let you know what is the kind of security solution you desire. It provides you with a starting point, okay? Uh, it can be, tailored, or it can be cut into the needs of your organization. You do not have to pick it as it is and implement it. You can tailor it and scope it as per your requirements, right? Like you have COBIT, you have NIST SP 853, and CIS benchmarks. Okay, you also have NIST risk management framework and NIST cybersecurity framework. So these are the few control frameworks you can pick up for your organization. One of the most well-known, information security management systems is ISO 27000, which provides a broad process-oriented and risk-oriented information security framework. Okay. Now, COBIT, as far as COBIT is concerned, COBIT has got five principles uh, which cover an enterprise from end to end. Now, for CISSP, knowing this much is more than enough. Firstly, that it's called control objectives for information and related technologies, and it's got five principles wherein it meets the stakeholder needs. Okay, it takes care of all the stakeholders which are there in your organization. It covers the enterprise end to end from complete, so physical domain, the technical domain, the entire physical enterprise is covered from end to end. Okay, it is it is based on applying a single integrated framework, a holistic approach, and it separates governance from management. Okay. NIST frameworks are very well known in US, and it's a US body which creates beautiful documentation for US federal agencies to follow. Now, if you look at NIST, few frameworks which you should be aware of for CISSP exam is NIST SP 837, which is the risk management framework, NIST SP 853, which is security and privacy control for IS and organizations, and NIST cybersecurity framework. Okay. ISO 27000 series of standards have around 54 standards. Okay, and they lay down each sector specific standards. And amongst them, the most common is the ISO 27001, which is the ISMS. But if you are looking at implementing ISMS for cloud, you have to go for 27011, 27017 for cloud, 27019 for energy, 27034 for application security, and 27799 for health. I've got a small question. Which of the following frameworks primarily focuses on improving the governance of enterprise IT to generate business value and includes principal practices, analytical tools, and models to manage, govern, and build IT capabilities in an organization? Now, NIST CSF is a cybersecurity framework which can be applied by anyone. ISO 27001 is for, uh, you know, for ISMS. Now, COBIT is a framework which is a possible answer, and ITIL. Now, ITIL is a library of best practices of IT, whereas COBIT is meant for governance. So this is COBIT. Right. So where do we start in our information security journey? The first thing is that you need to have a security policy in place. Okay. The security policy lays down what kind of assets do your organization have, what kind of security needs are there, what are your security objectives, visions, and goals. You assign major responsibilities in the security policy. You define roles and responsibilities. You specify audit requirements and compliance requirements for your organization. You lay down the acceptable risk levels in your organization. Okay, one of the most important form of a policy in your organization is called the acceptable use policy. The acceptable use policy is used to get it signed by all users so that they will use the systems in an acceptable manner. Okay? Uh, Once you have laid down the policy, then you need to follow, you need to have standards in your organization, you need to have baselines, and you need to have guidelines. Now, standards are generally compulsory. If you lay down a standard, everybody has to follow it. It provides a course of action and is uniformly implemented across your organization. Baselines provide you the minimum level of security. They are system specific, they are not organization specific, they are system specific. And guidelines are small snippets which you issue from time to time as best practices. They are generally not compulsory. Okay. So with this, we come to end of today's daily dose for CISSP. I am Colonel Shubhajit. I'm the founder of Protect Technologies. Do follow us for more. And if you have any questions, let us know. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.